Hi, and welcome to a weekly outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday, the 21st of August. Sorry, I do apologise firstly that I occasionally miss these updates. It's just that trading in the morning and in the afternoon, I tend to get tied up with other things and completely leave it until when I remember on Wednesday. But this week I seem to have got to grips with things, and notes working, and here I am looking at the markets. Now, looking from a big picture point of view, now this week, generally from a news point of view, is normally quite quiet. However, coming up on Thursday, we've got the Jackson Hole Symposium, which runs over Thursday and Friday. Now, this is where it's attended by central bankers, finance ministers, academics, and other financial market participants from around the world, and it's pretty much closed to the press, but officials talk with reporters throughout the day. So Thursday, Friday can become quite a volatile couple of days. Obviously, it will be working on US time, so it will be sort of midish day, I would expect, on Thursday, although speakers may start speaking earlier. But it can certainly create some significant volatility on Thursday, Friday. Aside of that, news-wise this week, from the fundamental point of view, got very little due, and of course, unless Trump gets carried away with his Twitter. Sorry, to all things, twits and tweets and Trump all sort of line up quite well. Anyway, there's very little news leading into Thursday. We've got the retail sales from Canada at on Tuesday, 1:30ish. There's a bit of German economic sentiment on Tuesday, which never really moves the market, but I always end up talking about it for some reason, and I've just done it again. Damn. Wednesday, we've got the French and German services manufacturing data being released 8 and 8:30 respectively. Now, these figures can give a bit of volatility, normally about 20 odd pips ish. Come 9 o'clock, the overall European data gets released. So there's sort of three periods there: 8, 8:30, and 9. Although 9 is sort of washed out. So that's pretty much it for Wednesday, apart from the usual crude oil inventories in the afternoon. As I said, Thursday there's not much in the morning. There's a second estimate GDP coming in from the UK, which is a volatile figure if it varies, but if it's in line, I don't expect too much movement around that. Aside of that, there's a bit of data prelim business investment. US unemployment claims coming in at 1:30. Thereafter, really, as I said, we're left to the volatility of the markets as speakers speak to the press. And the big question is, will Draghi discuss the potential winding down completely of quantitative easing in Eurozone? And will Yellen become all dovish, or will she keep relatively hawkish and suggest there's still one more interest rate to go? But and also reduce the amount of quantitative easing, but we'll see yet. So that's what we'll be looking for. Regardless, at 5 p.m. on Friday, we've got Fed Chair Yellen speaking to summarise things most likely, and the ECB President speaking on Friday at 8 p.m. So Friday is going to be the real volatile day, without any doubt. Will I be trading either of those? Probably not. It's Friday after it's Poets' Day. We don't hang around that late, crikey. Anyway, let's have a look at the technicals. And Wednesday, we've got Wednesday with the euro on the weekly even. We're seeing actually a bit of a little bounce here. It started last Thursday, just bounced off the monthly pivot there. Friday didn't come to too much, bit of an inside day, definitely an inside day. Today was just literally broke out a little bit further than I expected actually, but it's pushed up at the moment. There is a small trend line running across the highs there. If only I could draw the trend line, but I seem to have a trend line missing at the moment on my system there. Let's bring it in up here, and I'll draw you the trend line across the highs here. So you can have numbers as well, and you can see it's just pipped out above that. So it's ball flaggish really on the bigger picture there, and it's looking like it's getting quite bullish from that as well. So as I said, pushed out a little bit further, it may become a bit of an expansive move. Retracements may give opportunities to buy at the moment, and the markets are starting expecting Draghi to say something positive. Whether we just see chop leading up to Thursday and Friday is another matter, and is certainly a possibility. Looking at cable, the pound dollar, and it's not failed to disappoint, really, has it? Last week it sold off reasonably, not much. It sort of it did it all in a earlier part of the week, and then just chopped around for the rest of the week. You see on this 4-hourly chart. Coming back to the dailies, though, has picked up this morning. A little bit of a kicker back to the weekly pivot, where it's just tickling along. So I need to come back to that 4-hourlies, make sure it definitely has hit the weekly pivot there. So it's caught the weekly pivot. At the moment, it still looks to me in a sort of a bearish zone, but if it starts breaking above the daily 8 moving average, well, then it could start picking up a little bit more positive. It's again, we were to be drawing trend lines across the highs here. Looking at the prior the prior highs, we've really pipped out of that just a fraction, and maybe looking to, but it's almost walked its way out. So can't make a lot from that at the moment. But it may just be there's a bit of divergence on the dailies there, on the lows on the RSI, very weak, but it may just be suggesting we'll see a bit of dollar weakness going through until Thursday, Friday, possibly. Again, as I said, we could see chop. It's not clear from 1 minute. Dollar yen, I'm looking at this. It's from a weekly point of view. We've been sitting around these lows in this sort of, it's a sideward channel running through there. To me, it does look like it may roll. It's had a good push up for a couple of the days, but Friday bounced quite nicely in the end. Today, well, it's sold back off towards Friday's lows at the moment, and as I said, looking back at the weekly picture, if it starts breaking down below that low of last week, well, we could see more selling and a bit more continuation to that downside. So erring on the weak side at the moment, particularly what we're looking at today. It had diverged into that Friday's bar. A bit of divergence kicking in there, but giving up the gains quite quickly. As I said, it was a weak divergence. It hadn't really got sold off, particularly on the first point strongly, and to me, with the dollar strength or dollar weakness coming through, and the potential with the pound and the euro still kicking there, we could see a continuation to the downside on this yen. Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar is looking prime. It's last week it put in this nice sort of hammery sort of bar, and it looks like it could be trying to push out of the top there and aim back towards that weekly 200. It's, as I said yesterday on the updates, and this morning again, just erring like it wants to push up. There was a sort of a bull flag kicking in there from the sort of bigger picture. It struggled on Thursday, Friday much better, and this morning at the moment picking up okay. And there certainly is the potential for it to push back up and continue, but not the easiest one to read for sure. Canadian dollar, where we've seen oil pick up a bit back to sort of pushing up towards the $50 at some point, but we've seen this last week. It sort of pulled back. It's put a shooting star into the upper band there. It again could look weak on the weaker side there, but it's a sort of a bear flag sort of sitting there. It diverged. It's broken the trend line there from the divergence, taking out the lows and sort of in the shorter terms put lower highs in. It tried pipping up again on Thursday. Friday sold that bearish engulfing, and it seems to be struggling at the moment. Very little momentum in this. I say momentum. It is really. It's barely moving in this current state there. If it continues to sell off here, well, looking at a break of yesterday's lows, but there's the sort of targets, I guess, well, if you was looking on the short side, it's sitting around those prior lows there. But with this bitterness and the week we're in, as I said, potentially a very quiet week leading into Thursday, Friday, and then even then possibly chop and roll until we see Friday's or hear Friday's data. May make for a clearer trading week next week, but we'll I'm sure Trump or someone would put some spanner in the works. Anyway, it is, as I say, the holiday weeks. Have a great continuation of your holiday. I'll be back next week. Bye for now.